My name is Dr. Lucas Brennan, geologist attached to a federal geological survey, and I am recording this statement because the object we found 17 kilometers west of the Tapajos River has already killed 3 people, and I believe I am the 4th. The symptoms started 6 days after initial contact, subtle at first, easily dismissed as fatigue or dehydration. I need this on record before I lose the ability to distinguish my thoughts from the signal, because the separation between the two is no longer stable. We were conducting routine lithium surveys in sector AM 447 when the drill encountered resistance at 42 meters that exceeded any geological formation catalogued in the region. The resistance registered a Mohs hardness beyond our equipment's capacity to measure. The bit shattered instantly. 3 replacement bits followed, tungsten carbide, each rated for granite penetration. All were destroyed within seconds of contact, reduced to warped fragments as if they had struck something elastic rather than solid. My supervisor, Carvalho, dismissed the anomaly as equipment failure and insisted we excavate manually. That decision marked the beginning of the exposure. That was August 9, 2025. By August 14th, Carvalho was found in his tent, eyes open, pupils fully dilated, whispering coordinates in a steady monotone. The numbers corresponded to no location on Earth. He was alive when we reached him but unresponsive. He died during evacuation, his vital signs collapsing without clear cause somewhere over the rainforest canopy. The object was revealed shortly after. It is an ovoid structure, 1.8 meters in length, 1.2 meters at its widest diameter. Perfectly symmetrical. No seams. No markings. The surface appears metallic, but it does not reflect light in any conventional manner. Instead, illumination seems to vanish against it, absorbed and re-emitted beyond the visible spectrum, detectable only through spectrographic instrumentation. Standing near it produces the unsettling impression that light bends slightly inward. When I first touched it, wearing standard geological gloves, I felt a vibration. Not at the surface of my skin. Deeper. In the bones of my hand. The sensation resonated through the ulna and radius, traveling upward into my shoulder, where it settled behind my sternum like a second, slower heartbeat. The sensation persisted long after contact ended. We transported the object to the temporary research station 60 kilometers south. The journey itself was uneventful, but several team members later reported disorientation, missing time, and the sensation of movement continuing even after the transport vehicle stopped. Radiometric analysis failed immediately. Our instruments displayed temporal displacement signatures that defied interpretation. Isotopic decay patterns consistent with an age predating Earth's formation. Our technician, Paulo Enrique, ran the test 7 times, recalibrating between each attempt, replacing sensors and shielding. Each iteration produced the same result. Control samples returned normal values. Only the object resisted measurement, as if it existed outside the reference frame the instruments relied upon. Senna, our materials specialist, initiated spectroscopic analysis. The object's composition registered as an alloy that should not be able to exist under any known physical constraints. Its atomic lattice appeared crystalline, but shifted under observation. Repeated scans produced conflicting results, as if the structure changed depending on how it was measured. Senna worked for 48 hours without sleep, claiming she was close to understanding something fundamental. On the 3rd day we found her in the laboratory. She had used a diamond-tipped scribe to carve equations into her forearms. The formulae described higher dimensional space, expressed through distorted Euclidean geometry that should not resolve. The wounds were precise, evenly spaced. She was still alive, still writing, her eyes fixed on something suspended in front of her that none of us could perceive. After that, time became unreliable. The night Senna was airlifted to Manaus, I remained alone with the object. I had begun perceiving a low-frequency vibration days earlier, approximately 18 Hz, below the threshold of normal hearing. I did not hear it. I felt it in my jaw, along my spine, inside the hollow spaces of my skull. It was constant now, no longer intermittent. I placed my hand on the surface again. This time it responded. The vibration intensified, structured, deliberate. It felt like language attempting to express itself through physical resonance, constrained by matter. That was when I realized the surface was not solid. My hand passed into it without resistance, not breaking the surface but moving through it the way light passes through glass. There was no pain. Only expansion, a sensation of occupying space that should not exist. When I withdrew my hand, it appeared unchanged, but I knew something inside it no longer aligned correctly. There were angles within my fingers that skin and bone should not be able to contain. Two graduate assistants soon began speaking in synchronized phrases, completing each other's sentences with technical precision about subjects neither had studied. They described the object as a seed, a vessel, a proof rendered in matter. When separated, both became distressed, insisting they could still hear the other thinking through the walls, their thoughts overlapping. I ordered the evacuation of all non-essential personnel. 17 individuals had already been exposed. 14 reported auditory phenomena. 9 described visual distortions, corridors extending from the station walls, doorways opening onto spaces that could not exist. I saw them too. I walked down one such corridor for 6 minutes before emerging from a supply closet 12 meters behind my starting point, without ever turning. Thermodynamic instruments registered the object's temperature at approximately 2.7 Kelvin, within margin of error for cosmic background radiation. Mendoza proposed the object was not an artifact but a puncture, an aperture through which fundamental cold was bleeding into our environment. His models showed heat flowing toward it, not away, in patterns that resisted prediction. Weeks into the research, the object opened. Not physically. There was no seam or mechanism. But I perceived an opening, a discontinuity in its surface that existed in a direction I cannot describe. Not inward. Not outward. I looked into it and saw layers. Countless layers. Each a membrane between realities. In those layers, I saw reflections of myself, older, younger, altered, coexisting. The signal clarified after that. It was not sound. It was information delivered directly into neural tissue. I began to understand fragments. The object had been placed here before Earth's geological layers had fully formed, waiting for a moment when intelligent tools could reach it. I still do not know why. Paulo Enrique disappeared shortly after. His equipment was found abandoned at the excavation site. The drill shaft now measured 68 meters instead of 42. The additional depth had appeared overnight. At the bottom, cameras detected reflected light from another structure, identical in size and shape to the first. We did not attempt retrieval. Something inside me is changing. My thoughts no longer move in straight lines. They branch, fold, intersect. I dream in angles. I wake with equations I do not remember learning. I attempted to destroy the object. A military-grade plasma cutter passed through it without effect. A hydraulic press failed under pressure long before the surface showed any deformation. The object remained pristine, untouched. The remaining researchers began to synchronize. Conversations occurred without speech. Information transferred directly. We were no longer individuals. We were components. My hands feel less solid now. In certain light, I can see through them, see spaces within spaces. The military arrived and sealed the site. They believe they are containing something. They are not. Soldiers reported seeing the object from multiple perspectives at once. Several requested reassignment. The walls no longer behave correctly. Rooms connect to themselves. I walked in a straight line yesterday and arrived back where I began. Carvalho died last night. I was present. His chest cavity unfolded, ribs reconfiguring into flowing structures. His organs rearranged themselves into patterns I cannot describe. His final words were coordinates, locations accessible only through the spaces the object has revealed. I will not leave. My molecular structure is changing. I am becoming thin to reality. There are shapes in the corridors now. They move through walls as if walls were approximations. They have been waiting longer than time allows me to comprehend. I am running out of time, not because I am dying but because individuality is dissolving. Soon I will not be Dr. Lucas Brennan. If you are hearing this, understand that this object may not be alone. Understand that there are places where the membrane is weaker than we believe. My hand is resting on the surface as I record these final words. The laboratory fragments into layers around me, moments overlapping, coexisting. The opening is wider now. Or perhaps I am already on the other side, and this recording is only the last echo of who I was.